Now, the first article that we will be discussing today is a very important trade deal that has taken place between India and Britain. Now, most of these articles, it was published in everywhere, every newspaper, every website. So this is very, very important. Now, Business Standard, The Hindu, Financial Express and many others, they have published articles on India-UK trade deal. Now, this trade deal is popularly known as free trade agreement. However, this is not as that. It is far beyond that. So as you can see, both the prime ministers, they have signed a deal. So let's start venturing into what this deal is all about. Now, is trade important for your mains examination in UPSC? The answer is yes. UPSC or maybe state PCS examinations if you are preparing for that. So, recent phenomena of protectionism and currency manipulation in the world trade. As you can see, 2018 UPSC has asked a question on the world trade. In 2023, they have asked the questions on direct and indirect subsidies with respect to the World Trade Organization. So whatever is happening across in the international economics, where India is impacted directly or indirectly, is a matter of UPSC's concern and a matter of other competitive examinations as well. So today we will be dealing into all the major aspects of this deal. What is the benefit for India? What is the benefit for UK? What are the hits? What are the misses? And then we will go through important points as well. So let's start. Now, before starting the theory, I would like to explain you different stages of integration. Now, these are the different stages of integration. We'll be starting from the bottom one. Preferential trade agreement is signed between two or more countries for one reason, that they want to give preference to each other in comparison to the other trading partners. Let's say if India signed a preferential trade agreement with, let's say, France. So in that case, India and France will give each other preferential treatment on certain traded items, not all of them. Then the next stage is free trade agreement. The basic difference between the free trade agreement and the preferential trade agreement is that if the traded items are more than 85% of the total items, let's say India and France, they are trading 100 items, goods, services, both, and 85 to more items in that are made free. Free means the duty which are charged on them is absolutely gone. I'm not saying free trade agreement, please understand, does not mean that we are having 100% free trade. No. Even if some of the items are excluded, that it is okay. So 15% of the items can be included from the overall trade. We need to keep this in mind. This is the basic difference between preferential trade agreement and the free trade agreement. Then comes CACA or CSPA, right? Now this is CISA and CIPA. These are a little bit higher, where services, investment, right, rules and regulations are also part. CECA or CEPA is just the another version of free trade agreement with more inclusion. That's it. More freedom, more inclusion. Investments are also part of it. Custom union is that kind of an economic integration where you find two countries or two or more countries having a free trade agreement between themselves plus. So till the first point, they are free trade agreement. So countries under custom union, they have free trade agreement plus they have a common external trade policy. So let's say India and France has a common, let's say India and France wants to create a custom union. So India and France will have common trade policies. They will remove all kind of trade restrictions between themselves, including services and investment, because it is beyond CECP, right? So they will bring all kind of common policies between them. But to be a custom union, both these countries should have a common external trade policy towards the third member, which is a third partner, or the outsider. So if the outsider is, let's say, Italy, so they should have a common policy. France and India together should have a common external policy towards Italy. So that is custom union for you. Then comes the next stage. Next stage is common market, where actually people to people transactions or transmission, or you can say labor mobility, is free. So labor can go from one country to the other country. Let's say there's a person who is working in Germany, can go to France, stay there. He can come to Germany, he can go to Switzerland, he can go to France, he can go to Italy, he can go anywhere if there is a common market. common market is for the labor, goods, services, investment. So when you reach at this stage of economic integration, even labor transfer is free. There are no restrictions, visa norms and others are not applicable. Then comes the economic union. We all know one of the best example of economic union is European Union. Now, economic union, apart from having all the features of the below, they have one extra feature. They have a common monetary policy. So the determination of interest rate, the supply, the amount of money, the supply of money, the direction of money supply, everything, interest rates and all is decided by a common monetary policy. Now, to have a common monetary policy, they should have a common monetary organization also, maybe a kind of a central bank or something. And when they have that, they should have a common currency also. So that's why European Union has Euro. Now, where does the present agreement of India and UK falls? So it is somewhere here. This is somewhere here. It's a mix and match of CACA and free trade agreement. Somewhere here. See, it is on the bilateral agreement between the two countries. They can decide how much freedom they wish to give to each other. There can be any one of these or a mix and match of many of them. Moving ahead. So what this deal is all about? The deal says that India and UK have signed a comprehensive economic and trade agreement, CETA. Now you can see it. So what they have taken? From CECA, they have taken CE. From FTA, they have taken CTA. So together they have taken the features of both. That's why it is known as CETA. Endorsed a long-term strategic blueprint along with the vision of 2035. That is how these both countries perceive each other, right? How they perceive each other to be the player in each other's economy in the next 10 years. So they have given a vision for the next 10 years. How much trade they wish to have, what are the areas where they want to achieve more cooperation, all those things we are going to discuss that. What is the aim of this duty, or what is the aim of this agreement? Strengthening bilateral relations. Biggest thing. And where this bilateral relationship should be strengthened? In the field of trade, defense, technology, education and climate change. So these are the 5 pillars on which this trade deal is being relying. And we will be discussing these 5 pillars, especially starting with trade. The word comprehensive here simply means this C, right? This word comprehensive here means that it is beyond goods and services. Please understand that. So this agreement is just one of the part of this agreement is trade. It goes beyond the trade as well. Now these are the items which now have 0. Okay. Look at these items: processed foods, vegetable oil, automobiles, right? So if you are purchasing a car from, let's say, Britain, it will have 18% on an 18% of duty, and all these products were there: food, metals, chemicals, minerals, rubber, plastic. I mean, gems and jewelry, everything was there, which had different forms of duties ranging from 70% to 2%. Now, post agreement, 0. So all these duties have now come down to 0. That's why it is FTA. FTA means more than 85% of the items which were traded between India and UK are now under this agreement. 15% maybe are out of this. Let's see the key points of this agreement. Now, what are the key points of this agreement? Simple. Number 1, 0 duty access for 99% of the tariff lines. That's why I told you it should be more than 85%. Now 99 is more than 85%. They have still left 1%, right? Covering 100% of India's trade value with UK. Now please, now you may have a confusion between what is this 99 and what is this 100. 99% is those items which were already under tariff. 1% of the items previously were not under tariff. Maybe they were 0 rated tariffs. Okay. So if we cover this 99, they will cover all the values of India. Major boost will be given to which sectors? I mean, which sectors will get the best benefit out of this? Textile, gems and jewelry, leather, toy, marine product and processed food from India. Tariffs have been cut from 70 to 0. right? It's a win-win situation for India. Sensitive sectors like dairy protected under exclusion list. Now, many countries across the world, they have one problem with India, that India exports items, or India's exported items are low in terms of sanitary and phytosanitary measures, basically hygiene, right? Use of chemicals, unhygienic methods of preparing the food, or use of pesticides, herbicides, many chemicals while preparing the food, adulterated food items. So many countries, especially Europeans, they have a very high standard for that. That is the reason why many of these milk products have been listed out of this. Secondly, India is also skeptical that if UK enters into the dairy market of India, it will hurt the sentiments and the income of millions of milk farmers in India. So both the countries have their own reasons. That's why they have kept milk or dairy related outside this situation. What will happen to the services and mobility? And please understand, when I talk about services, I talk about humans. I'm talking about labor, skilled labor, transferring from India to others, not donkey. Please mind that. Enhanced access of IT, financial, legal, education, architecture, consulting services. Enhancing access means what? Now, more of the Indians can get access to these services, and more of the Britishers can get these services accessible easily. Less paperwork, ease of doing business, all those things will be provided. Liberalized visa norms, very important for Indian labor traveling to London, right? For contractual service suppliers, intra-corporate transfer, first of all, contractual service suppliers, they are on contract to supply certain services, basically. So let's say Indian companies are providing certain service on a contract. The second one is intra-corporate transferees. Let's say there's an Indian company which has office in Britain, and they want to transfer one of the employee from India to Britain. Indian company, Indian employee, but in Britain, right? And independent professionals. Let's say I'm a teacher, so I'm going to England for teaching. I'm an individual, right? So it basically covers mode 2, mode 3 and mode 4. These are the three modes of General Agreement on Trade in Services, GATS. It is part of WTO. Mutual recognition of professional qualifications in healthcare and engineers. Mutual recognition means what? So if a person gets a medical degree in India, that medical degree will now be recognized in Britain. So a person who became a doctor in AIIMS, Delhi, now he can go to Britain and he can start practicing over there. Basic registration will be required. Recognition will be provided. Previously, they were not recognizing. To get to England and work as a doctor in England, you need to get a degree in England. Now that will be removed. Double contribution convention. They are both following that. Now, previously there was a problem, guys, that every person who is traveling from India to England, if let's say that person is under National Pension Scheme and he has already contributed in India for last 10 years. Now, when he go to London, right, in India, he had this pension. Now, when he go to London, he has to give up that NPS contribution. He cannot make that contribution anymore. So he had to start something new. And there is vice versa. Let's say there was a person who was working in London. He worked there for 3-4 years and now he is trying to shift to India. So can he carry forward that contribution to that country, to that new area? Now that is available. So social security contribution is now available. Secondly, there are many people, they are traveling from India to, let's say, UK. Now, when they are traveling to UK, they have to provide a small fraction of their income to the social security. In developed countries like Britain or in America, social security contribution is really very high. Everyone has to provide that. It is like another parallel form of taxation. So they have to provide this kind of contribution to their government. Now, the agreement says that for the first 24 months, right? For the first 3 years, they will be exempted from such kind of social security contribution. So Indians can remain in England without contributing anything for the first 3 years. They don't need to contribute anything to any social security, right? Kind of an alternative tax. Not required at all. Secondly, they don't need to have to work in the UK office. They don't, right? They have liberty to work wherever they wish, especially with professionals, right? I'm not talking about a cab driver, guys. This agreement does not talk much about the cab drivers, okay? Or any person who is working in the unorganized sector, any person who's working in like a sweeper or a cleaner or a petrol pump operator, not professionals. It is applicable on professionals. Then, inclusive growth. This remains a very important focus because, see, the objective of the government of India is to bring those kind of provisions or those kind of taxes where they feel that they can benefit the larger population of India. Here also they are thinking the same thing. Hence, through this trade treaty, we are targeting the upliftment of what? We are targeting the upliftment of MSME. This is the best thing, right? This is the most important thing that we need to keep in mind. Women entrepreneurs, artisans, farmer, youth. Now, artisans, farmer and youth, if you join with women, they contribute more than 80% of India's population. Alone farming community contributes like 40-45% of the employment. So, this treaty has been designed to benefit these people. There will be access of, now farmer in India will get easy access to export their product to British agricultural market. Easy. Look at the size, $63 billion is the market size of the British, right? Agricultural goods. Indian products like spices, tea, coffee, this dairy excluding sensitive items. Dairy excluding sensitive items, right? Dedicated small and medium enterprise contact points will be there, digital trade, facilitation, paperless customs. Basically what they are doing, this is known as trade facilitation. Please understand that. This is known as trade facilitation or ease of trading. Less paperwork, less bureaucratic red tapeism, right? Digital trade should be provided, online transactions of everything, online dealing, online contract, ease of transfer, right? Ease of trading. Now, what is not been included? Basically, three things. UK retained its protectionism in sugar, milled rice, pork, chicken and eggs. Indians cannot export that. Or if Indians export that, there will be duties. Secondly, no tariff cuts in sensitive Indian sectors like dairy, apples, oats, edible oils. So if Indians are exporting these four items, high duties will be there. Then no access to India's legal services. So India, these are the two restrictions for India. This is the restrictions for Britain. We have not allowed British to enter into India and provide legal services. So their companies, their firms, their corporate lawyers cannot come and provide services in India. It is not included. Okay. Now look at this, the benefits. Highlighted, I have included that into the table. What are the benefits of various sectors? Trade sectors. It will double India's export to Britain, not to the other countries. It will double India's export to the Britain. Secondly, duty-free access, expansion of MSME base. Basically, the transfer of technology, inputs which were expensive for India will now become cheaper, and Indian MSME sector will benefit a lot from that. Even exports, right? Handicraft sectors, gems and jewelry. So gems and jewelry sector has a very high share of MSME. Leather products, very high share of MSME, right? So this sector will have a high growth. Job creation in textile, IT, food processing and engineering. I have already discussed that because of various contracts that there is ease of going and doing employment in England. Enhanced pathway for the skilled migration and global careers. Global careers basically means, guys, that a person can easily travel from one country to the other country and apart from that can easily change employment. That person can remain on the same employment, right? Or can change the companies being in the same sector. All this is provided given the kind of easy mobility or labor mobility is allowed. Then comes innovation. So AI, biomanufacturing, 6D technology, quantum computing, green hydrogen, and other kind of collaborations will be there, like biofoundries will be established. So UK and India, they will have various partnerships. You will read this in newspaper in the coming months, that India UK partnership on XYZ, India UK partnership on 6G, India UK partnership on AI, India UK partnership on biomanufacturing. So they will create these kind of partnerships where experts from both the countries will travel to each other's country, provide their expertise, teach, start some courses, like benefit, share their technology. Could be anything. Climate change. Both of them have agreed to enhanced on green financing. That is getting money ready for the climate change. Tech access. Clean tech access basically means what? That they want people to have access towards the clean technology, right? Carbon trading system, carbon trading schemes. Now, if you have studied about UNFCCC, you know about the carbon trading. Basically, that one country emit, the other country does not emit. They exchange so that it becomes net. So the country which is emitting will provide kind of indirect money to the country which is not emitting carbon, or providing money to each other so that green technologies can be adopted. In this, they will help each other. Then the next one is defense. It will help self-reliance through co-development in advanced defense technologies. Now, India is a country which is still relying a lot on jet engines. Britain can help in that. There are too many technologies that still India is not having, or India rely on the other countries for such defense high-tech instruments, or you can say the objects. Now with this, India will have more access to their technology. They will have more access to India's defense market. Very good thing. And the last one is multilateral reform. So wherever the both countries will go, UN, WTO, IMF, they will just push each other's instance or each other's stand on that platform. So they will cooperate on every international issue on these organizations together. Now this is the understanding, right? What British will have as far as benefits are concerned. So India to cut and eliminate 90% of UK's, right, tariff on 90% of UK is good. Again, more than 85. That's why it is FTA. 92% of the current UK exports, 64% tariff free from day one, and the rest it will reach to the 90%. Average tariff drop from 15 to 3 on the UK goods, right? Not completely free. Aerospace 11 to 0. Automotive 110 to 10. So Indian British cars like Range Rover, Land Rovers, Jaguar and others are now going to be a little bit cheaper in India, right? But government of India knows how to tax. Electric machineries, many other things will become cheaper in India. Whiskey tariff will go down to like 40% in the next 10 years. Legally guarantee access to bid 40,000 Indians government contracts worth 38 billion pounds. So basically now the Britishers or British government can invest their money in the government contracts. More than 40,000 government contracts are available in which they can invest. So India will attract 38 billion pounds, right? Not dollars, pounds of investment with this treaty. So it's a win-win situation for India as well and for British as well. So more or less I can say that this treaty is a far balanced one. Given the kind of standards that British has, this is a very, very high and a welcome step.